China just weaponized rare earth minerals against America, and it might be the biggest economic miscalculation Beijing has ever made. What happens when you threaten the world's largest economy? You're about to find out in the next 60 seconds, and what I'm seeing suggests China's leaders have no idea what's coming. Welcome to Politics Tribune. China just declared economic war on America, and I don't think they understand what they've done. According to reporting from China Uncensored, the Chinese Communist Party announced sweeping new restrictions on rare earth mineral exports last week. These aren't just any materials. We're talking about the building blocks for smartphones, AI chips, fighter jets, and missiles. And here's the kicker. China controls the global supply, but this time, Beijing went too far. Under these new rules, any foreign company using Chinese rare earths must get permission from China before selling their products. Let me repeat that. It doesn't matter where you manufacture. If you use Chinese rare earths, Beijing wants control over your entire supply chain. Think about what that means. A Taiwanese company like TSMC can't make semiconductors in Taiwan and sell them to American companies without China's approval. That's not trade policy. That's economic extortion. And you know what China's excuse is? World peace. I'm serious. Beijing claims they need to control rare earths because they have military uses. So controlling who gets them promotes regional stability. Let me translate that propaganda for you. China wants the entire world on its knees. But here's where this gets interesting, and why I think China just made a catastrophic mistake. President Trump responded immediately on Truth Social with a 100% tariff on Chinese goods, effective November 1st. That's on top of existing tariffs, some already as high as 50%. Do the math with me. A widget that costs $100 from China, it'll now cost $200 to $250. Americans simply won't buy it. Should the U.S. hit China even harder with tariffs, or is 100% enough? Think about that. Now, China's economy is already struggling. Weak manufacturing, massive unemployment. Youth unemployment is so bad they stopped publishing the numbers. And, historically, the country that exports the most has the most to lose in a trade war. Right now, that's China, not America. Here's what blows my mind. Xi Jinping had to know this would provoke a massive response. Trump was actually playing ball with China. He kept TikTok alive even after it should have been banned. He's shown willingness to negotiate. So why would Beijing escalate now? I have 3 theories, and none of them are good for China. Theory 1. Xi Jinping is surrounded by yes-men who won't deliver bad news. Sound familiar? During Mao's Great Famine, lower-level officials kept telling him they had plenty of grain while tens of millions starved to death. Xi might have a completely disconnected view of how fragile China's economy really is. Theory 2. According to Sino Insider, Chinese scholars think Trump is just a transactional businessman who can be bought off with economic incentives. They're looking at the political turmoil he's facing, immigration battles, blue state governors refusing to cooperate, and they think if they add economic pressure, Trump will crumble. They're betting on the wrong guy. Theory 3. This is pure desperation. China knows its rare earth monopoly won't last forever, so they're trying to squeeze maximum leverage now before it's too late. And here's the thing, they might have just accelerated their own downfall. Let me explain why rare earths aren't China's trump card. Despite the name, rare earths aren't actually rare. China has a monopoly because mining and processing them is expensive and incredibly polluting. Most countries were happy to export their environmental destruction to China in exchange for cheaper materials. But we don't need China for this. Trump is already planning to stockpile deep-sea critical metals from the Pacific seabed. The Pentagon just went on a billion-dollar buying spree of critical minerals. There's a minerals deal with Ukraine in the works. America is moving fast to break China's stranglehold. And you know what? These export controls just gave every country on Earth a reason to accelerate their plans to cut China out. Beijing's leverage might only last a few more years, and they just gave the world a massive incentive to make it even shorter. What this means for America is huge. First, short-term pain. Yes, we'll see supply chain disruptions. Some products will cost more temporarily, but this forces us to do what we should have done years ago. Build our own rare earth production and stop depending on an authoritarian regime that uses access to critical materials as a weapon. Second, this exposes China's weakness, not its strength. Strong countries don't need to threaten their customers. China's economy is in serious trouble, and this looks like a desperate play by leaders who don't have better options. Third, American innovation gets unleashed. When we're forced to solve problems, we do it better than anyone. We'll develop new mining techniques, find alternative materials, and create supply chains that don't run through Beijing. That's American jobs, American technology, and American independence. Do you think American companies will ever trust Chinese supply chains again after this? Comment yes or no below and tell me why. Now, Trump has suggested he might walk back the tariffs depending on China's response. He even said on Truth Social that America wants to help China, not hurt it. There's still a scheduled meeting between Trump and Xi later this month at the APEC summit in South Korea. But here's what we need to watch in the next 48 hours. 1. Does China announce retaliatory tariffs, or do they back down? As of now, they're just vowing to fight to the end without taking concrete action. 2. How does Wall Street react? The CCP is probably hoping business pressure will force Trump to fold. Will corporate America put short-term profits over long-term national security? 3. Do our allies join us? If Europe, Japan, and other democracies unite against Chinese economic aggression, Beijing is in serious trouble. 4. Watch what China's doing domestically. According to reports, they're heavily censoring news about the tariffs inside China. That tells you they're worried about their own people's reaction. And if you're enjoying this analysis and want to stay ahead of what's happening in American politics, hit that subscribe button and tap the bell so you never miss an update. Let me address the other side for a second. There are always voices, usually on Wall Street or in corporate boardrooms, saying we should just do business as usual with China. They'll claim Trump's an idiot, that China's winning the trade war, that tariffs hurt American consumers. Here's my response. How much is freedom worth? How much is national security worth? We're not talking about a normal trading partner. We're talking about an authoritarian regime that commits genocide against Uyghurs, threatens Taiwan, steals intellectual property, and now wants to control global supply chains through economic blackmail. Some things are more important than cheap widgets, and frankly, the China's winning crowd has been wrong for years. China's economy is slowing. Their population is declining. Their debt is exploding. Their tech sector can't innovate without stealing from us. Trump's first-term tariffs didn't destroy the American economy. They started forcing the reshoring of manufacturing. This isn't about hurting China. It's about protecting America. Here's what I think happens next. China is in a tough spot. If they back down, Xi looks weak domestically. If they escalate, they accelerate the decoupling of the world's two largest economies. And China needs us more than we need them. Trump holds the better hand here. Our economy is stronger. Our allies trust us more than they trust Beijing. And we have options. China's running out of them. But this is a huge gamble for both sides. If Trump blinks, if Wall Street pressures him to cave, China wins, and every authoritarian regime learns they can blackmail America through supply chains. If Trump holds firm and the world unites behind us, the CCP could find itself in dire straits. I think Trump holds. The meeting at APEC will be fascinating. Well, will Xi come offering concessions, or will he double down? Will Trump accept carrots from Beijing, or will he demand fundamental changes to how China does business with the world? One thing's certain, this isn't your grandfather's trade dispute. This is about who sets the rules for the global economy in the 21st century. Free democracies or authoritarian regimes. And I know which side I'm on. So here's my question for you, and I want you to really think about this one. If taking a firm stance against China means higher prices for some products in the short term, is that a price you're willing to pay for long-term American independence and security? Drop your answer in the comments. And here's a follow-up. What would you do if you were advising President Trump right now? How hard should America push? Because here's the reality. This affects every single American. Your smartphone, your car, your job, your investments, your national security. China just forced this confrontation, and now we have to decide, do we stand firm for American interests, or do we let Beijing dictate terms? I say we stand firm. I say we call China's bluff. And I say we use this moment to finally, permanently break our dependence on a regime that views economic relationships as weapons. China made a mistake. They thought they had leverage. They thought Trump would fold. They thought the world would just accept Beijing's control over critical supply chains. They were wrong. And over the next few weeks, we're going to watch that mistake play out in real time. This is Politics Tribune, where we put America first. I'll be tracking every development in this trade war, every move Trump makes, and every response from Beijing. Make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss it. The trade war is back, and this time, I think America wins.
If you enjoyed the video, hit the subscribe button and turn on notifications so you don't miss any new videos.